Alright, in this lecture I'll show you how extremely customizable Blender's layout is. And this is pretty simple stuff, but very important, as you'll often want to change the windows a bit depending on the kind of work you're doing. I'll start off showing you the different ways you can maximize an area. Now to maximize an area, make sure your mouse is hovered over it, and then press Control and Spacebar. And that maximizes the area, but it leaves the menu bar at the top and the information bar at the bottom. So let me press Control and Space to get back to regular view. Now to full screen this area, you can press Control, Alt, and Spacebar. That full screens the area and gets rid of the bar at the top and bottom so you maximize your workspace. So let's press Control, Alt, and Spacebar to go back to regular view. And these different view changes can also be found in the area's view menu here. You can go to View, then down to Area, and we have Toggle Maximize Area and Full Screen Area. Now to resize areas, what you do is hover over the border until the mouse cursor changes, and then you can click and drag in either direction. And you can click on the horizontal borders as well. Now if you want to split one area into multiple areas, what you can do is go up to one of the corners, left click on that, and if you drag it left, it creates a vertical border. And if you click on a corner and drag it down, it'll create a horizontal border. So we split that area into 3 now, and now we can change these new areas here into different editors if we want to. Now let's say I wanted this editor here to be up there and this one down there. In order to swap areas like that, you can hold the Control key and then click on the corner and then drag it to whatever other editor you want to swap with. For example, I can even go up to that one and swap those and so on. Now in order to join areas back together, what you can do is click on the corner and drag towards the adjacent window you want to join with. So if I drag it upward, you can see this arrow appears. Now whichever direction we choose is the way the windows are going to join. So if I use the up arrow like that, then the image editor is the one that remains after we join those two windows. And this works for whatever windows are adjacent to each other. For example, we can join the 3D view with this one by clicking on the corner right up there and dragging it to the right. And there we go. Now we're back to our original layout. Now there's also the option to pop out editors into their own window. For example, if I hold the Shift key and left click on that top right corner and drag it, it pops the 3D view editor into its own window. This is especially useful when you have multiple monitors, because now what I can do is drag this over to my second monitor, which you can't see because it's off screen, and now I have Blender on both monitors. So let me close that. Now one last thing I want to mention about area customizing is that if you right click on one of the borders, you have area options here to split and join. Now when it comes to the headers for each editor, if you like your options and your menus at the bottom of the area instead of the top, you can right click on the header and choose Flip to Bottom. And same thing, if it's on the bottom, you can right click and choose Flip to Top. Now for any editors that have panels like the Properties editor down here, you can customize these by expanding them or collapsing them depending on which ones you need and which ones you don't need. And you can also reorder them by clicking on this icon next to them and dragging that. And that way you can reorder things by order of importance, and you can put all the ones you don't need at the bottom. Now in some editors you have the ability to zoom in and out in order to see the text better. To do that you can hold Control and middle click and drag, and it'll zoom in and out like that. Now you can also change the resolution for everything in the interface by going to the Edit menu, go down to Preferences, and then go to the Interface tab, and you have this option here called Resolution Scale. This will change everything though. So if you just want to zoom in and out on one editor, you can hold Control and middle click and drag. Now if you're making changes that you want to be default for every time you open up a new blend file, then when you're done customizing the layout, don't forget to go up into the File menu, go down into Defaults, and save the startup file here. Then all of those changes you made will be default for new files. And almost everything can be customized to be a certain way too. For example, I can go over here and I can change some render settings. And then when I go and save the startup file, those new settings will be the new default. You can even move the objects around or add in new objects and do whatever you want. And when you save the startup file, everything becomes the new default set for new blend files. Alright, so that's going to do it for customizing the layout. In the next lecture, we'll go over workspaces, which are basically just pre-made layouts you can switch to and from, and you can create your own as well. But that'll do it for this lecture, so I'll see you in the next one.